Comic books and books, we have Randy Blythe, vocalist for Lamb of God, has written another book. It's another memoir, and I don't know, we're going to get into that. We also have Black Lightning getting his own book for the first time in a little while, and Batman is teaming back up with Santa Claus, apparently.
Hello, nerds, and welcome to this week's episode of The News as it pertains to comic books and books. No discussion of current storylines, story arcs, or any of those kind of details is going to happen here per se. I am, after all, a one-man organization and can't read every book that comes out and report on it and any of the news therein. But we can talk about new announcements and major changes as they pertain to any of the publishers that we follow, or just generally nerdy literary information in that sense. So let's get into all of that, shall we? And also, if you dig what's going on here, there is a much more up-to-date and possibly relevant, because it takes a second to get these sections posted up, so probably much more up-to-date version of the news in long form I like to call The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, which you can find linked in the description as well as at the end of this video. That show covers many more points of interest in the nerd community, in the pop culture community at large, and so definitely go check that out. Now let's get into all of those literary notes, shall we?
This week's follow-ups and corrections are just follow-ups, actually, for comic books, just like the other two sections that we've covered so far. The one follow-up that we do have is the Helverine. If you'll remember, this character was created specifically for a Ghost Rider crossover book between Wolverine and Ghost Rider. The Weapons... Oh, there it goes. Weapons of Vengeance was the name of the book. It is now getting an ongoing book called Helverine. A link in the description will take you to where you can find that. So that's what we got for follow-ups. Let's talk about, we don't have any trailers, we just have regular ass news. Starting things off there, we have Black Lightning getting a new book, a new solo book. DC announced a new series for Jefferson Pierce. Number 1 will hit shelves November 13th. Written by Brandon Thomas, art by Fico Ossio. I'm not familiar with either of their works, but it's really cool to see Black Lightning getting a new story, new book rather. Next up, speaking of new books, we have a new Batgirl book, but it's not the Batgirl I was expecting. It's Cassandra Cain Batgirl. She'll be getting a new ongoing series written by Tate Brombal, I think is how that name is pronounced. I apologize for my mispronunciations. Previously, he worked on Green Lantern and House of Slaughter. Art will be coming from Takeshi Miyazawa. I know that one was close. Takeshi worked previously with Ms. Marvel, as well as Mech Cadet Yu. This will be the first time in 12 years we are getting a Batgirl Cassandra Cain. So yeah, it'll hit shelves November 6th. Go check it out. Our next one is revisiting an old story, kind of. Last year, I'm pretty sure, yes, this is a sequel to, burying the lead. Batman and Santa Claus are teaming up for Silent Night Returns. Night with a K. Get it? It's a play on words that they've never done before in DC. But I mean, this is just fun, right? So we have, it's a sequel to last year's book with a similar name. It was The Silent Night. This one's written by Jeff Parker, art by Lukas Ketner. Will be hitting shelves November 27th, and then will be coming out weekly. It's a 5-issue mini. It'll be running through December 25th. So I don't know if it's going to be on shelves on Christmas Day, but I don't know any comic book shops that are open on Christmas Day. So maybe you'll have to wait until the 26th. But that's what we got there. Then we have our final piece of news for comic books and books, and that is Just Beyond the Light. Randy Blythe's new book is coming out. It will be hitting bookstores February 18th of 2025. This is his second book, and it is also a memoir, just like the first one, but it's not picking up where the first one left off necessarily. It's more covering different territory. So sounds pretty interesting. I've not read the first one, honestly, until I saw the announcement for this. Didn't really know the first one existed, so I suck. But yeah, that's what we got. Just Beyond the Light, again, February 18th of 2025, if you're interested to read Randy Blythe's deep thoughts. That leaves only our suggestions for the week. Our suggestion this week is a book I read some time ago, but was very enjoyable, and it is a book called Steel Beach. This is not a comic book, it is a fiction novel. It is a satirical science fiction novel set in a futuristic lunar society where humanity, having been driven off Earth, now lives under the care of a benevolent AI that meets all of their needs. That's one of the reasons why I think I suggested it, just because all the AI stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of philosophy in here. There's actually the beginning of a series, I'm pretty sure, so it's really interesting. There's a lot of very modern socio-political issues that are addressed in there. Maybe not in the ways that I would appreciate now, since I've kind of adjusted my socio-political stances on some of the things, but still a really good read. So yeah, Steel Beach, that's your suggestion for the week.
That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.